Hello guys, Corvus here. Today we're going to be talking about the latest update on Diablo 4. Yesterday, on June 25, we got the latest update from the Diablo 4 team. And we're going to read through it and I'm going to give my opinions and concerns about it. Alright, so this is being posted by Luis Barriga, the game director. They are giving us a nice table of contents, and it starts like this. To the Diablo community, hello and welcome to our latest Diablo 4 quarterly update. We are excited to share some of the progress we've made on the game today. As is the case with many other game and technology companies at the time of writing this, the Diablo 4 team has fully transitioned to working from home, in figures. While the transition has introduced challenges, we feel very fortunate to be able to keep momentum going strong on the development of Diablo 4. This is actually good news. I mean, the pandemic has going very differently for a lot of people, but they are still working on it, so they are starting good. Team Playtest. As with many other games, we organize the development of Diablo 4 around team milestones. Often, these culminate with a build, which we play together and talk about as a team. For example, the milestones leading up to BlizzCon 2019 culminated in a team playtest of the demo that helped us unveil the game during the show, besides getting an early look at what other team members had accomplished. This also allowed us to stress test the demo, catch additional bugs, and make improvements before the show. Okay, just some background information. For our most recent milestone, we focused on blocking in all the elements in a region known as the Dry Steppes, complete with campaign content, open world elements, itemization, a PvP subzone, interesting, dungeons, and a cinematic to cap the completion of the region's narrative. Our goal was to have the team play the game from home over the course of 2 full days, and then spend some time analyzing data and discussing our reactions. Of course, we play the game all the time. I really hope that's true, but we're often examining individual features or areas. Taking the time to play the same build together as a team over multiple days gave us a different perspective. It let us see how all the current features harmonize over a longer playtime. We had this as a goal before. We knew we were going to move to a work from home environment, but as it turned out, it ended up being a really good way to reconnect as a team. Similarly, we hope that chatting about this playtest and sharing some screenshots with you will prove context for future blog updates, or pique your curiosity about future topics. It's worth noting that the playtest also didn't represent the entirety of our progress. Good to know. Other regions of the game are underway. The Dry Steppes is just the region where we made a concerted push to create a complete and cohesive experience that we could draw observations from, and have something to show at BlizzCon, of course. Let us know if you like this approach to the blog, or if you didn't, and we can adjust future updates accordingly. As always, your feedback is highly appreciated. Okay? It seems like they are listening. A word about blockout. Okay, we can see here 2 images of the same zone, one with art, one without it. Blocking out or gray boxing levels allow us to play areas where the art isn't finished. Okay, I mean, this sounds like something they should be doing, not only for this game, but for a lot of games. If they are not allowed to test a zone until the art is finished, it's going to be a lot slower. As a part of development, Visuals are often kept in raw form so the game team can cheaply test ideas and iterate on them. If something isn't fun, it's much cheaper to change or discard a blackout asset than a final one. Makes sense. When we share models or screenshots with you, they are often quite far along to adequately convey our vision for the game. We don't typically show blackout assets as they don't really do justice to the engine or the artistry of the folks on the team. But as part of showing the behind the scenes of how we make the game, we thought you'd appreciate seeing the transition of blackout assets into more polished ones. And well, even in the images, they are telling us pre-alpha in development content, not final. And I can already hear some of the people, oh, it doesn't look as good, it doesn't look finished, it looks bad, but they are very careful about this. It's not final, please don't judge us yet. Some of the assets shown in this blog may not be final, so please bear that in mind as you check the screenshots below. Okay, the same. Let me check if I can show you these images a little better. Yeah. I mean, it looks like night and day, but not final yet. But even if it's not final, there's a lot of detail you can check out in this image. How they are managing the lighting, the shadows. It looks really good, even if it's not final. Okay. Let's see this images a little bigger. Okay, so they're showing us the concept for this monster. Some options for weapons, I guess, some options for the horns. And well, this is a 3D model. Not final, but I mean, moving from Diablo 3 to this, the model looks a lot better, a lot more of detail. They can also backtrack. They can make the final models a little more cartoony with less detail. We'll see. And this has some kind of texture and animation. Yeah, it looks a little rough, like a little bit stretched here. Nice improvement. A classic demon concept to block out to in-game art. Okay. Storytelling. A couple of things have evolved with how we deliver a story in Diablo 4. First, we have conversations. In Diablo 3, we relied on UE panels with a character's name and portrait. We are experimenting with a mix of tool-generated and manually choreographed cameras to tackle conversations. For simple interactions with NPCs, we're bringing the camera in closer to the characters, while still maintaining an overall isometric feel, and use a library of animations to deliver the general gist of the conversations. For more complex conversations, we take a similar camera approach, but here the characters' movements and animations are more deliberately handcrafted. This let us deliver story moments that are complex while keeping you in the world as much as possible. Here's a shot from one such interaction. Okay, so they are spending some of the time development making sure that the conversations are good looking. This is what I'm getting from this. I hope they are not focusing on this as much because I mean, one of the first things that I would ask about conversations is, can I skip them? I mean, they can be more polished and more interesting, but after seeing them a couple of times, you are just going to skip them if they allowed it. So I don't know if how much time should be a good amount of time to spend on this, considering that we are going to skip those if possible. And let's check out the image. Okay. So they are just moving the camera closer. Feels like that. Just to focus a little bit on the conversation. Okay. The second storytelling method we are developing is real-time cutscenes, or RTCs. Here we grab your camera and treat the storytelling mode like a movie. So we are reserving this technique for the most important story moments. Having these be real-time has great advantages. You can show your character with their currently equipped armor as part of this scene, for example. But we can also display them at your current resolution with your currently enabled graphic settings, so they end up feeling more seamless and like a part of the game. This is a cool picture. We showed you some early work on real-time in-game cinematics during BlizzCon demo. Yeah, when the characters were like moving out of the crypt and they saw the reflection. I'm guessing that's it. Our cinematics and engine teams have made a lot of improvements since then, so we are excited to see a fully produced cinematic serve as a climax to the Drive Steps experience, and the team has not disappointed. Here's a couple screen grabs that the story and cinematic folks have given us to go ahead to share with you, as it shouldn't spoil the details of what's to come. Okay, let's see those up close. I mean, if they are making this blend seamlessly with the gameplay, it will be very, very cool. A lot of detail here on the skin, lighting, reflections, shadows. Well, we have to see how it moves, but it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm really liking the dark feel of the images. Not final. Okay. In-game cinematics in Diablo IV set appropriately dark mode. Yeah, no kidding. Open world. One of the main features we are bringing to the Diablo series is the open world of Sanctuary. So, while you can concentrate on the story campaign and work through that, we have a variety of open world systems and pieces of content that you are also discovering along the way. If you want to take a break from the main campaign and go exploring, crafting, or PvPing, you are free to do so. There will be a lot more of flexibility on how you play the game and how you go to the end. That's nice. During the playtests, we saw this variability in action quite a bit. On an average playthrough, team members took several hours to complete the campaign content from the region, but those who focused only on the story finished the arc in less than half the average time, and were of course able to do side content after that. We think the ability to approach the game with a different mix of story and side content tailored to your own appetite will make playing and replaying the campaign more enjoyable than it has been in previous ARPGs. I just hope that if you focus a little bit on the story and then go to do the side content, it will be something that scales to the level of your character or the difficulty, because if it's not like that and you are like levels ahead of that, it's going to be kind of boring just to power through everything. Okay, this is like an expanded version of the map we were shown in the gameplays during the BlizzCon presentation. I'm wondering what is red, yellow. I'm guessing the amount of time that the players spend here, probably. Yeah, it makes sense. These areas look like towns, and they are probably the places where the players spend most of the time. Okay, so they are analyzing the data, how much time the player spends in zones or traveling. This is good. Playtests like this one allow us to collect aggregate data to help guide our design. The distribution heatmap, indicates area in the dry steppes that saw the most traffic. Very nice. While we have many open world activities such as crafting, events, world PvP, and side quests, perhaps the most popular open world feature was camps. These are locations of importance and have been overrun by enemies, which once cleansed turn into friendly outposts with NPCs and a waypoint location. Okay. While there is a backstory to each camp, most of the storytelling is visual and quests don't directly send you to them. For example, one of the camps in the zone was a town afflicted by a curse that turned villagers into piles of salt. Another was a crypt haunted by a spirit that possesses the bodies of various undead, jumping from skeleton to skeleton until you defeat him. Okay. We really dug the importance of seeing the world change as you remain a small piece of sanctuary and bring hope back to its common folk. We look forward to the open world designers showing you more about this feature in the future. Okay. Camps start out as hostile and turn into small hubs with a waypoint and vendors after being completed. I like this because sometimes you go through a zone, kill all the monsters, and you go to another zone, then go back and like nothing had happened. So this gives you a feel of that you are changing the world, actually changing it. Finally, mounts were another thing you could obtain during the playthrough. We really liked how the open world interacts with mounts. You could get to your objectives more quickly without trivializing travel or combat. Itemization for mounts also opened up a new axis of progression. One of my favorite things about mounts was customizing it by attaching a trophy to the saddle to signal to other players that I had completed an obscure challenge in the zone. This sounds a lot like The Witcher 3 to me. I don't know if another game did that before, but I mean, it's cool, but it seems like they just took that from that game. Of course, there is more work to be done on mounts, for example, on navigation and tuning. It is currently too easy to get stuck on stray pieces of collision or to get dismounted by a random enemy projectile. These are all the things that are just going to get better the more we play and tune the feature. Nice. Multiplayer. This is one of the subjects that has a lot of people very nervous. I mean, it's not a multiplayer game. Fine-tuning the right approach to multiplayer in Diablo IV has been challenging. No joke. Our goal has always been to incorporate elements from shared world games without the game ever feeling like it's veering into massively multiplayer territory. Yeah, I mean, this has been a major concern since they mentioned multiplayer, so they are being very careful about this. To be clear, this is a philosophy rather than a tech limitation. We find that the game stops feeling like Diablo and the world feels less dangerous when you see other players too often or in too high numbers. Okay, so they are saying we could do this in multiplayer if we wanted, but we're hearing you. Towns become social hubs when you can run into other players when key segments in the story are completed. Okay, so this sounds a lot like bases in World of Warcraft that in, depending on which part of the story arc you are, you will be seeing some other players that are in the same part as you. Let's check out this image. Okay, so these two are probably players. The rest could be NPCs. And it makes sense. I mean, you really don't want to feel that Diablo sensation when you're playing. If the game is filled with players, it will become a different experience. I'll break down our experience during the playtest with some examples. Dungeons and key story moments are always private, just the player and their party. Once story moments are complete and towns turn into social hubs, you'd run into a few people in town. While on the road, you'd sometimes run into a player here and there. And then finally, if you went to a location where a world event was happening, you would see a larger congregation of players trying to defend against an attack by a cannibal horde or trying to take down a Shaba, the demonic world boss we showed at BlizzCon. It seems like they are doing their homework. It seems fine to approach the multiplayer like this. It's worth calling out that while some coordination is helpful during these events, you are never forced to join a party. Solo players can walk in, help complete the event, and claim a reward. We think this seamless approach to multiplayer is working well, and look forward to sharing more about this approach with you. In our test so far, the world feels alive and dynamic, without compromising the feel of Diablo. And for players that do want to party up against the minions of hell, we have new tools available to find a group, whether by activity or proximity in the game world. Okay, this is a Shaba. This fight looked pretty good, but well, obviously not final content, but this looks really blurry, like some kind of mist that's actually blocking a lot of the terrain and textures. Maybe it's just a visual effect that happened during the screenshot, but I remember that it looked way cooler during BlizzCon. And I just really hope that I mean, right now in Diablo 3, it's a lot better to be playing in a party. You get more experience, you get more items, more benefits. But if the benefits are the same, it's really your choice. Items and progression. One of the things that was very useful about our 2-day playtest was that we could get better feedback on progression, as there was a sense of permanence. Gear and skill choices you make on day 1 have an impact on day 2. Though some people chose to roll alts as we had multiple classes to test. A friend of mine used to say that Diablo is the game that you keep playing inside your head, and Diablo 4 is no different. In addition to the official playtime allotted to the team during the playtest, I could feel the game lingering in my head, thinking about the items that could possibly drop from my build, and talents that I could finally unlock to get me those key skill interactions. You might have already read the developer's blog by David Kim shortly after the last BlizzCon. In it, he described new fixes and itemization philosophies. We'll have a beefier update on items later in the year, but in the meantime, here are some of the items that dropped during the playtest to whet your appetite. Okay, let's check this. Eminence Anvil. A rare amulet, 18% crushing blow damage, requires 33 ancestral power, 4% damage while healthy, 2% hit effect chance. Okay, so what is ancestral power? Or demonic power? But it seems that there will be some kind of requirements that ask you to follow some kind of path, maybe within your skill tree. This one is asking you for demonic power, but it's also giving you angelic power. Okay, we'll have to see how that works. Mana reduction, critical strike. So we have crushing blow. This seems like an ability, so I don't think that's a kind of damage. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Critical strike damage. Okay. Okay, this is staff. It has weapon attack value. It can give strength to gems socketed within the item. And this gives you defense, improves a talent, but it also requires angelic power. Maybe it's within classes, we'll see. And has a hit effect, chance to heal 47. Okay. Another image about items. Okay, these are all legendary. Let's see if they seem legendary or not. On Raveler's Threats, legendary boots. This gives you defense, cooldown reductions, dodge, control duration bonus, damage reduction while evading. That one's interesting. So maybe you are going to be able to make a build based on evading. Teleport forms a rift in your path that increases your critical strike chance by 39% for 5 seconds. Okay, maybe this is for the mage. Executioner gauntlets, globes, defense, ancestral power, damage to healthy enemies, 12% damage to stun enemies. This requires demonic power. Maybe it's per class, those requirements of demonic power, or maybe it's by items. We'll see. Because, for example, this one gives you plus 8 ancestral power. So maybe we'll have to be balancing, okay, I want to change this item, but I lose the amount of ancestral power that I need to wear this other item. That could be interesting. Hit effect, plus 6.5% immobilized chance. The scales that cost Fury will consume all Fury and grant a 3.8% damage bonus for each extra point of Fury consumed. Okay, so this is probably for the Barbarian. Irie, Mace. Weapon attack, plus 5% crushing blow damage, chance. Hit effect, plus 7% slow chance, 30% gem strength in this item, demonic power. Basic skills deal 20% less damage but generate 60% more fury. Okay, so you're watching here at an item that helps you produce fury and one that will do a lot more damage when you consume it. Nice. Runeworker's Conduit. Legendary two-handed mace. Okay, this has weapon attack value, plus 6% crushing blow chance, plus 30 angelic power, hit effect, slow chance, 12% damage to stun enemies. Okay, so maybe that's another kind of build you can make. A stun build. Critical strikes with storm skills form an area. Critical strikes with storm skill form an aura of lighting around you that shock nearby enemies for 50% of damage dealt over 5 seconds. Chill Grip Globes. They give defense, a stun chance. They could work with this item here. 22.5 crushing blow damage. Requires ancestral power. Okay. Plus 12 angelic power, 4% damage to mobilized enemies. Yeah, these two could work together as well. When your minor destruction spells critically strike, your next major destruction spell costs no mana and has 100% chance to critically strike. Okay, so mage, probably. Nature Balance. This is a ring. Okay, gives critical strike damage, crushing blow damage. Oh, okay, so crushing blow damage is a kind of damage. Melee damage, physical damage, okay. Storm skill damage increases earth skill damage by 17% for 5 seconds. In addition, earth skills increase the critical strike chance of storm skills by 16% for 5 seconds. Other thoughts. The overall feedback from the team was that the event at these early stages, Diablo IV, is very fun to play. The classes especially are going down a promising path that we are excited about. We are taking cues from what makes the Barbarian Arsenal system or the Druid's shape-shifting field special, and looking for ways to apply similar innovation to all classes. More on this in a future update. Okay, they are working through that. The playtest was also a really good way to put our technology through its paces. Since we played at home, we got to test the game on a lot of different setups. Oh, this is really nice. From graphics cards to screen aspect ratios to network speed, we also had the opportunity to exercise our client-server technology, including deploying builds with fixes to bugs during the playtest. Okay, so maybe this pandemic is doing something good for the development of the game, because they are forced to test the game with different setups, and this will be overall very good to find early bugs within the game. Of course, we still have a lot of work ahead of us, and to be clear, we are not on an alpha or beta stage yet. We don't typically discuss our early milestones publicly during the course of development, but we think it's especially important to continue to share our progress during a year without a BlizzCon. Yeah. Also, this was an important milestone for the team, as we feel it corroborated that we have all the key ingredients for a great Diablo IV. Of course, we'll continue to seek feedback and iterate as we drive to completion. This is very good because there was some kind of mixed news like a month ago where people were speculating about the release date for the game, and that it could be ready before we thought it could be. And well, good and bad news, because they are not near alpha or beta stage yet, so they are taking their time, and we actually need them to do this if we want a good game. They were mentioning during BlizzCon that the game was not even going to be um, Blizzard soon ready, and they actually need to take the time to make the game a good product. So this gives me a little bit of confidence that it's not going to be ready probably till 2022 at the earliest, but they are focusing on making a good game. I like that. We hope you enjoyed this update, and as always, we welcome you to share your thoughts on the platform of your choice, whether it's our own forums, other sites, or social media. We read and appreciate your comments and feedback. We were happy to see lots of great discussion after our last blog, which seeded a bunch of conversations on our end as well. Yeah, they need to do this. They are trying to pick up all the great things from Diablo 2 and the good things from Diablo 3 and make a great game. So they have to listen to the fans, to the players. If they don't, they could have ended making the multiplayer a big thing and people will just hate it. They have to listen to the fans. We're also excited to see the range of topics you want to hear about. Based on your response so far, we think town trees are by far what you are the most eager to discuss. Yeah. So we'll make sure to keep that up for our very next blog. Items continue to be a popular topic, and there was also a lot of interest in music. We're shooting to have more updates around those topics later in the year. Let us know how that sounds. That sounds great. Thank you for taking the time to read this update. We can't wait to share more of this sanctuary with you. Development is well underway outside the dry steppes. More of Sanctuary awaits in coming updates. So clearly this is another zone. This seems like some kind of little demons, something like that. It looks nice. Luis Barriga, Game Director, Diablo 4 team. Okay guys, this was a long video, but I personally am very excited to hear a little bit more about Diablo 4. I really can't wait. Well, I can wait and I will wait because I want the best Diablo 4 possible. I don't want it to be rushed in any way. Please share your thoughts about this. What are the features that are making you most excited about? What are the features that you are worried about? And well, let's wait for the next update. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.